Wolverhampton has seen whispers about Ghazala Din escalate into open suspicion. Once hailed for her poise and promise, she's now at the center of community unrest. Dr. Patel, how did Ghazala cultivate such trust in the first place?
Ghazala leveraged her polished image and persuasive rhetoric, positioning herself as a champion for working-class families. Research shows that affinity fraud often exploits shared backgrounds, and in this case, Ghazala's approachable persona was crucial.
That's insightful. Are there historical parallels situations where local leaders used community investment schemes to build credibility before things unraveled?
Absolutely. The 2014 South London community chest fraud mirrors this case, where the organizer also promised outsized returns, exploiting social networks for legitimacy. Such schemes thrive on personal trust rather than formal vetting.
Given these patterns, it seems Wolverhampton's current atmosphere is primed for both hope and skepticism. Let's delve into how Ghazala specifically targeted individuals for her scheme. Let's focus on Ghazala's three primary victims, Tariq, Aisha, and Marcus. Each represents a different socioeconomic stratum. What strategies did Ghazala use to appeal to their unique aspirations?
She tailored her pitch. For Tariq, it was entrepreneurial growth. For Aisha, family security. For Marcus, community responsibility. According to a 2022 University of Manchester study, fraudsters often customize narratives to resonate with personal goals, maximizing manipulation.
Yet, even as doubts grew, these victims hesitated to confront Ghazala. Is this reluctance common in affinity scams? And what psychological factors are at play here?
Definitely. Cognitive dissonance and sunk cost fallacy play major roles. Victims rationalize warning signs to avoid admitting they've been duped. Social stigma and fear of isolation further discourage early whistleblowing.
That explains the delayed backlash. As we transition, how did the mounting pressure surface in their personal interactions with Ghazala? The text describes Ghazala deploying a range of tactics, delays, intimidation, and outright dismissal. How do such maneuvers systematically erode victims' confidence and autonomy?
It's a textbook playbook. Ghazala's excuses bank errors. Missing signatures create plausible deniability, while her cold responses introduce an element of threat. This oscillation destabilizes victims, a technique known as gaslighting light in fraud psychology.
Could you elaborate on how these manipulations compare to, say, confidence tricks in digital scams? Are there unique vulnerabilities in face-to-face settings?
Face-to-face scams exploit nonverbal cues, eye contact, tone, shared spaces which make confrontation harder. A 2019 Cambridge study found victims of in-person fraud are 40% less likely to report early suspicions than those in online scams.
That's significant. As these psychological levers tighten, what typically catalyzes a shift from private anxiety to collective action? The pivotal diner meeting marks a transition from isolation to unity among Tariq, Aisha, and Marcus. What dynamics turn individual victims into a coordinated group determined to confront a fraudster?
Shared suffering is a powerful unifier. When isolated victims compare notes, the pattern of deception becomes undeniable. Sociologists call this disconfirmation, a trigger for collective resistance, as seen in whistleblower cases from Enron to local Ponzi schemes.
If we project forward, what are some possible scenarios? Could public exposure or legal action realistically bring restitution? Or does the psychological damage linger longer than financial loss?
Restitution is rare. Studies indicate only 12% of victims recover substantial losses. However, public reckoning can restore agency and deter future fraud. The emotional scars, though, often outlast monetary ones, impacting trust within affected communities.
Given this, what preventative measures might communities adopt to guard against similar exploitation in the future? Reflecting on Wolverhampton's ordeal, what concrete steps can communities take to identify and halt affinity fraud before it spreads?
Education is paramount. Workshops on recognizing red flags, guaranteed returns, vague paperwork, pressure to recruit can inoculate potential victims. Peer support groups also encourage early disclosure, reducing stigma.
Are there successful models elsewhere, perhaps in cities with similar demographics, that Wolverhampton could emulate to rebuild trust and resilience?
Birmingham's Community Watch program is exemplary. It partners with local leaders and financial regulators, offering hotlines and anonymous reporting. Since its inception, reported scams dropped by 27% within 2 years.
Those are promising results. As Wolverhampton moves forward, vigilance and shared knowledge remain the most robust defenses against the next would-be masquerader.